What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our previous tutorial we discussed on effect and transitions. So after that I thought it would be awesome if I showed you guys how to create 8 different effects and 8 different transitions that you can start using on the go for your videos to make your videos look more interesting. So in this video I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to create this effect. Alright guys, so this is called the shake effect. There are many effects here, but we'll be discussing majorly on the shake effect, because from what we discussed in the last video, which is keyframing, you can already create this particular effect. It's very easy to create. So there are multiple effects here, but what you see majorly here is the shake effect. You can see it here and you can also see it here. So this one basically is keyframe animation. Like we are animating a falling object from top to bottom, which was what we discussed in our previous tutorial. So if I'm to turn this off here, you will see that this is basically a basic animation going from top to the bottom. You understand? So if you apply ease out, then fall here. So the major thing I will be showing you guys is how to create this shake effect. So let me remove this shake effect that we did here and play this video, and let's see what it looks without the shake effect. You see, it doesn't look real. So if you want to add that high energy, those intense vibe, those kind of effects that makes your audience feel the beat or the tension, that is what we are going to be discussing today. We are actually going to be discussing 2 effects. One is the shake effect, the next one is the strobe effect. Both are super fun, super dramatic, and when used rightly, they will make your video stand out like crazy. So let's start first of all with the shake effect. So I will delete this adjustment layer and create a new adjustment layer for our transition. So let's head over here and create our own adjustment layer. I've already set the shortcut to be Y, and drag it here. You could also do this without an adjustment layer, but I prefer to do this with adjustment layer so that I can easily drag it and move it around. And by the way guys, if you also want to learn more about adjustment layer, just comment adjustment layer below this video, then I will make another video to teach you guys how to use adjustment layer apart from this transition. So let's get right into it. So what we want to animate in this, now you can see this, and this video looks flat without that shake effect, and it's not only for falling object. Let's say you want to exaggerate a motion. Let's say somebody made a footstep and you want to communicate that that footstep carries weight, or you want to communicate to your viewers that the footstep is powerful, then you can add some shake effect to the camera. It will exaggerate the movement and make it look much more mighty. So let's do this now. And for this, what we'll be using is the position keyframe, but not this position keyframe. This position keyframe is only for the adjustment layer. You see, if I move it around, it doesn't affect the video. So for us to do that effect, or for us to work with that effect on a clip using an adjustment layer, we'll have to add another effect called the transform effect. And the transform effect is here in video effects, distort, transform. Drag it and drop it on the adjustment layer. Wonderful. So now you will notice that if I move this position property, it doesn't move the adjustment layer alone, it also moves the clips behind it. So in that way we can now utilize the effect properly. So we want to add the shake transition at this point. Immediately this house lands. You understand? We want to add our shake animation here. So let's do it now. As we've added our transform property, as we've added our transform effect, first thing we will do is to tell Premiere Pro, remember this a lot, set initial keyframe for it, because without it the effect will not work properly. So we'll tell Premiere Pro, see this at this position or at this point in time, this is where the scale animation is, because for us to animate the position without having these black screens you see here, You see, if I'm to move anything, we'll start seeing black screen. And for us to avoid that, we'll have to scale our clip in. You understand? If you scale your clip in now, if you zoom, it doesn't show. Like if I scale it in, it doesn't show the black screen again. So we want to eliminate this. So let's start by animating our scale property. So I will tell Premiere Pro, at this point in time, look at where the scale is. But as it gets here, I want you to zoom in. You understand? So let's zoom in like 115. Oh no, this is 155. Let's go 115. This will now give us the ground to do what we want to do. And in order to make this thing work much more smoother, let's add an ease out animation here. Ease out. So it's not very visible. You see, it's not very visible. So what we did now is to scale it. Then let's do the main magic, which is to add our shake animation. And for that to happen, we are going to come to position. We are going to select our position in the adjustment layer, and we'll go just at the point before it falls, and we'll add a keyframe. Remember, set your initial keyframe so that Premiere Pro will understand you better. So we'll add a position keyframe. Now if this is where we now introduce our logical reasoning. If this object is falling down, and if you were to be there to observe the scenario, that means if it falls down, the things at the bottom or the things at the ground should bounce up before coming down. So this will set the flow of your transition, the flow of your effect. So this will set the flow of your effect. So as we've added our initial keyframe, we are going to move forward in the frame here, and we'll drag everything to the bottom. As we are dragging it down, it is going up. Yeah. So the next thing we'll do now is to drag it down, because we are adding a shake effect. We'll drag it down. This is how it would happen in real life. It will bounce up, bounce down, bounce up again. So here is good. Here is good. Then we'll move forward frame again, like one frame, and bring it up. Keep it subtle, guys, so it doesn't look distracting instead of entertaining. We'll bring it up. Let's say 540 or 550. Let's do 550. And we bring it down again. We are bringing it around those numbers. 536. Now let's go up and bring it to around, let's say 545. Then we'll go forward now and stabilize it. Wonderful. So let's play it now and see what it looks like. Wonderful, guys. You see, we now have a slight shake. Unlike this. You see, this doesn't look real. If a heavy object like this falls, like this house, we are supposed to have a big shake. And that is what this thing is doing for us. And by the way, I'm keeping it simple. If you want to exaggerate it, you can now start adding high numbers to it. But for me, I think I'm okay with this. And there is no limit you can go. You can exaggerate it to be as high as you want it to be. If you want, you can move it much more higher than I did here. But guys, I'm good with that. Let's just flow with it. Beautiful. So the next thing you can do is right here in the adjustment layer, there is this property called use composition shutter angle. Yeah, that's it. Use composition shutter angle. So this is the way or the trick you use to add motion blur. I've already discussed what motion blur is. So let's uncheck this box and increase the shutter angle so as to add motion blur to our shots. You see what happens when I'm increasing the number. At 0, it is like this, but if we increase the shutter angle, we start getting some motion blur. So to fake a motion blur, to make it look as if it happened real life. Because if you are having fast moving objects, you should have motion blur around it. You understand? It should not be very sharp because it's moving with a high speed. So that's the use of the motion blur. So that is it, guys. You can experiment with this, and there is no limit to your creativity to it. The next effect we are going to be discussing is called the strobe effect. There are so many methods to add strobe effects to your video, but I'm going to be showing you the simplest, the easiest, and the most basic way on doing it. Strobe effects are majorly used in music videos, hype edits, and all those dramatic reviews, but we are going to use it here in a dance section of a video. So let's quickly dive into it. Now let me play the music. We are going to be adding strobe effect so you hear what it sounds like. So we want to add strobe effect to our clip in that area of the video. So let me play the video we are working with. Okay, so let's add strobe effect. Like I said, there are many ways you can do it. You can use keyframes here, but let me show you the simplest way first. So we want to start from this place that it starts doing we'll add strobe effect to those places now. Okay, one of the strategies we will use to make this effect easier for us is to add markers to this clip so that we will know the exact point we'll be adding strobe effects to. And I've already told you that the shortcut for adding markers to your video is M. And I also said that if you want to add markers to a video clip, you should select the video clip, because without selection, if you press M, it's going to add it to your timeline instead of the video. So let's select the video and now add the strobe effects to it. So with these markers now, it's going to be much easier for us. So what we'll be doing now, we'll quickly cut through all these places that has marker. So let's use the cut tool, the razor tool. Let's press C, selecting the timeline. Let's press C and start cutting them. So what we'll now do is we'll remove the clips using the trim tool, which is our selection tool. We'll remove one frame out of all these places that has marker. So let's start doing that right away. Just take out one frame from them. Let's continue to select and take out. Okay, so let's play it back now and see what it looks like. You can see, you will see this. I believe you should have seen this effect many times in music video. It's called the strobe effect, where you make your video blink. Now remember what I said, transitions are created from effects. So let's say at the end of this strobe now that I remove this clip here and replace it with another clip. So now it's no longer a strobe effect, it's now a strobe transition. So transitions are created from effects. The other way to do this is to use keyframe animations, but although for me I prefer cutting it this way, or you can also use keyframe animations to do it. So the good thing there is that with keyframes you can get more creative with it. Let's say you don't want your videos to go blank, you don't want to have black screen, you want to still have some video information. With your video clip selected, expand it so you can see this rubber band here, then start adding keyframes to all these places you have the marker. Start adding keyframes between the marker. What you can now do is to add another keyframe at that spot your marker is and then drag it down. Drag it down. By the way, to add keyframe, what I'm doing here is also adding keyframe. So if I select this thing and go to my opacity, you can see the keyframes I've created. Remember this diamond icon from our last tutorial. So as I'm adding them, I'm adding keyframes to them. And remember, the beautiful thing with doing it this way is that if you don't want your video to completely be blacked out, you can reduce the opacity. What we are doing is reducing the opacity, by the way. So you can reduce the opacity in such a way that it doesn't get to 0%. You can leave some more informations, so some, not all of them are at 0%. And finally, we are done. So let's play our video and see what we have. You see, that's what you get when you do it with opacity keyframe. So you can choose to reduce all of them to 0 if you want all of them to be blacked out. And as you can see, we got some cool fade in and fade out animation there. So if you don't want any of those, you can make it more rigid by adding keyframes. So that is it, guys. That is it for this tutorial. As you practice and keep practicing with this, ensure to apply these things to your video. Don't just learn it for learning's sake. Your creativity will start coming out when you start applying the things you have learned in your video, and that is when your growth will start showing. Years ago, I used to learn all these things and keep them to myself. If I see it in someone else's video, I will be like, wow, I know how to do that. But knowing how to do that doesn't help anybody. People will only appreciate what they see. So as you practice them, apply it to your videos so that the world can see your progress, and you will see you keep getting better. So quick recap, in this video we discussed how to add shake effect to your footage and also how to add strobe effect to your footage. The shake effect is gotten from adding keyframes to the position property in your adjustment layer. Remember, not this position property, but the position property as a transform effect. While the strobe effect is gotten either by cutting your videos directly to add a sharp strobe, or by using keyframe animations to animate the opacity to get the strobe effect. So practice these things and we'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.